everyone. We'll do a quick introduction for anyone who don't know who we are. So my name's Amy, and this is Ree, my husband. We're the founder of Women Sellers, and we've been selling on Amazon for about 6 years now, and we did not get started with the way that we did about 1.5 years ago, which is the replan model. We actually got started with private label, and that was in itself a big learning curve for us because we were brand new to selling on Amazon. And I listened to some podcasts, YouTuber, and I was like, okay, this is something that we can do. So we jumped right into private label, not knowing anything. So we ordered our first product from Alibaba, and it did okay. We invested about $6,000, I think, into our first product of 500 units. And it took about 3 months before we were able to see our money back with a little bit of profit. I don't even think we made that much money, but we learned a lot along the way. And then the second time around, we tried to do another form of private label called branding. So we made our own product, and that took a while too. And we even invested more money. And so as each time when I was doing a different model of selling on Amazon, I was pregnant. So we have 3 kids. And the first time I was pregnant with my son, Tyler. Second time was Ethan, our second. And then the third time around, I was pregnant with my daughter, Elena. And with that time around, it was right in the middle of the pandemic. And I was 7 months pregnant. We had just lost his job. I was working as a retail pharmacist. We had bills to pay, and we were kind of in a crunch. Like, we didn't know what to do, but we knew that we knew there was a future in Amazon because we were testing out a new model called Replan, which is just a subset of retail arbitrage. And it's a way to sell kind of like wholesale. You can buy things over and over again, except you don't have to buy them in large quantity. And it's different from retail arbitrage because you don't have to buy them on clearance or in discount. And
so replan is just short for like replenishable. So anything that you can always walk back into the same retail store and find it on the shelf. It doesn't have to be on sale. In fact, it probably shouldn't be on sale because you want to be able to predictably buy it for the price that you got it last time over and over again. And that's
pretty much what for. Yeah. And that's what's working for us. So after only about 8 or 9 months, we were able to quit our jobs and replace both of our income. He was a software developer. Again, I was a retail pharmacist. So we were making okay money, but we were scared to death to leave the industry that we've known. I studied for almost 10 years, and he had a degree in computer science. And so it was very hard for us to just kind of let go of our day job to do this full time. And so I know there are some of you who that's kind of what your goal is as a reseller, as an Amazon seller, to one day maybe supplement or replace your income. And so I really encourage you that if this is what you want to do, just stick with it. And I know that right now it's a very slow time of the year for online retailer, even for regular retailers. It's very slow. And so we just kind of had to keep going at it. And so I'm going to talk in detail about what we can do to increase the sales a little bit, to boost some of those sales velocity so that Amazon can give you a little bit of love for your selling account. So these are some of the tips and tricks that we have tried and has worked for us. So hopefully you can take away a little bit of this presentation and go home and be able to implement it into your own business as well. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm testing out a new software called Canva, and I'm liking it a lot better than Google Sheets. Actually, Cece helped me with this presentation. Cece is my sister. She's been helping us with the business since we got started, and she's also our operational manager, and she was able to help us out with everything that has to do with the warehouse. So we're so thankful for her. I think I'm going to finish the presentation so we can kind of get it out, and then we'll do like a big Q&A. Okay. All right. Okay, so what do you do when you have slow sales? So this again is something that everybody who is working in retail places, online or in store. So first thing is don't freak out. Summer is the slowest time for e-commerce and for regular retailers. So an overview of what we're going to be talking about today, what to do to boost sales, what happens when prices tank. So this is actually a question from a member in the Women Sellers group. She's not able to join today, so I just took her question because I think this is something that a lot of people are worried about, like what happened when I find a product, I send it in, and then all of a sudden it tanks. So we're going to give you a little bit of tips on what to do with that. I also tell you what not to do during this time. I think you guys have an idea already, but we'll go through what not to do and then how to take advantage of this time. So it's not all gloomy because this is actually when you should be getting started, because most people think Q4 is a great time to get started, but then they are getting started at that time, so it's too late. So summer is actually a really good time if you are just brand new to online. So relax, think about what other retailers are doing. So for example, I was just at the store the other day and I saw an anniversary sale for Nordstrom, and I was like, maybe there's a reason why they're doing this. It's because it's slow. There's a reason why they're doing it in the summer. Victoria's Secret has their semi-annual sale. So again, I just want to encourage you guys that this is not just happening to us. People are on vacation, and so sales, even Prime Days happens in the summer. So it's just a way to kind of boost sales. So when you do have slow sales, though, there's a few things that you can do. You can start repricing your items. You can fix stranded or suppress inventory, and then you can take a look at your inventory health and feedback to see if you can trigger some sales. And all of this is inside Seller Central. So if you do have an active account right now, you can go into your Seller Central account and fix all of this to see if you can boost a little bit of sales. So the first thing is repricing. And repricing is just what it is. You go in and you reprice your items because all of the items on Amazon, the prices changes on a minute basis. So sometimes you put in the price and then after 10 minutes, the price either go up or go down, or it changes all the time. So what's important is that you kind of manage your pricing so that you are competitive with other sellers that you're selling. And this is particularly important for anyone who's doing replan, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale, not so much of private label. And I say that is because with private label, you usually have the buy box because you're the only one selling. So when you are just starting out, when I first started out a year and a half ago with Replan, I went in and I changed the prices manually. I go in and I just update the price to be competitive with all of the people who are selling on Amazon. But we don't want to do the race to the bottom, right? So we don't want to just keep on lowering our price until it's not profitable anymore. What I don't want you to do is just sit there and keep it and hope that it will go back up. So you want to just stay on top of it, stay on top of all of your SKUs. And I think a good number to keep in mind is if you have less than 100 SKUs, it's still possible to do it. I would recommend doing it. We always recommend trying to outsource or use software as much as possible to get rid of all of these tasks that are kind of taking up our time unnecessarily. So the software that we use to to automatically reprice our items is called inform.co. And inform.co is to us the best because we like the interface. It reprices every minute, I think.
Probably every second.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally like a bot, right? It's just a computer that doesn't sleep, doesn't have to take breaks, doesn't need to eat. It's just working. So, we're setting all sorts of minimum and maximum prices for all our SKUs, and then it just goes to work and it gets us the buy box as best as it can while maintaining the profits for us.
Right. So that's why we really like Inform. There's others called this Aura, AURA. There's also Be Cool. BQOOL that other sellers have used and they like it too. We just always use Inform, so that's what we like, and we'll link Inform in both the chats so that you guys can check it out. All the tools that we like is actually in one page because we've been doing this for a while, and every single time someone asks what we recommend, we would just link it, but now we have it all on one page, so you guys can just check that out.
Yeah, and these are all the tools that we use on a regular basis. It's what we use to grow our business from basically zero a year and a half ago to $1 million in revenue in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
So it's no secret, right? These are tools available to everybody. Feel free to go through it. Decide what's right for you. It works really well for us.
Not to say that you need all of them though, especially if you're just starting out. You really only need two main tools, which is the Amazon Seller app and Keepa. So if you're brand new, don't worry about all of this stuff. This is more for people who have been selling already, like you guys who are joining today. Maybe you have items in your inventory. So if you're brand new, I don't want to stress you out with all of these tools that you have.
Yeah, certainly don't go through and sign up all today.
Yeah.
But certainly bookmark the tools page because you're going to want to go back, as you kind of scale up and grow, you're going to want to go back and say, oh, or ask, I wonder what, we and Amy use to kind of grow their business, and you can go back there and basically see.
Okay. I think we're going to take some questions right now.
Yeah, so Jen actually had a question about tools since we're on the topic of tools. So Jen over on Zoom is asking, what tool can you use to see the stability of a price? I know Keepa has price history. Do you use another tool to confirm that?
So we use Helium 10 also to confirm the price. And I haven't seen a discrepancy between Keepa and Helium 10. So if you have Keepa already, I would just keep that and not have to buy another tool. How often do you say that you check the prices when you are doing it manually? When I did it manually, I checked it about 3 times a day. I would just go in there because we only had like less than 100 SKUs. So I was able to just scroll through it really fast and check it.
So we got another question from Faria on Zoom. She's asking any good or special strategy to source replen.
Okay, so Faria, so there's no correct answer to this. If you want to do like retail, it's a lot of practice, and I know that in the beginning for people who don't have a lot of time, what I did when I first started out was I went into every single aisle that I'm familiar with in the retail store like Walmart or Target. I would stand there and I would scan every single item and check to make sure it's good and profitable on Amazon. One time I think it took me about 4 hours to find like maybe 5 products. So it really takes a little bit of practice and patience before you find it. But the good thing about replen is once you find it, you can just keep on replenishing it over and over again. So it's kind of worth your time. And I know that you're in the pod. So the pod is something that I created after going through all of this headache and seeing that other people have the same problem of not being able to find products. So I started the pod for anyone who wants to pay for the service for me to find products for you pretty much. So I hope that, I think we're gonna talk more about the pod if you guys are interested, but if you are just starting out, I would say first get familiar with knowing the prices. So make sure that you keep your margins safe, meaning you don't want to make just a couple dollars because that's not worth your time, right? You want to make items that you want to net about $4 or $5 per product, and you want them to sell consistently, which is where Keepa comes in. So you have to make sure you know how to read the Keepa graph. So that's really important for replen, finding good replenishable products. So I hope that helps, Faria. Let me know if you need me to give you, clarify something, but that's pretty much how I did it when I was first starting out.
So switching over to Facebook, going back to Nadine's question. So again, she's new and she's having some slow sales right now. So far, she has a good replen item, but she needs help with bundling them. I think that's a great way to earn more capital. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, Nadine. So we don't do too much bundling, but the only reason if we would is if we see an item that isn't available on Amazon already. So let's say, for example, you buy a spray bottle of something like a cleaning supply, and it's selling really well. And you also find that the refill bottle sells really well, but the bundle itself isn't offered on Amazon right now. You can create the bundle, but you need to know how to create a new listing. So if you've done private label in the past, Nadine, then you would know that you need UPC code, you need pictures, you need description, bullet points, feature benefits, and all that stuff in order to create a new listing. And not just that, but you need to also run some advertisement, PPC, which stands for pay per click, in order to get some eyeballs on your listing. So sometimes it might not be the best way to go, but if you find that a product is just flying off the shelves and the bundle is not available right now, you might want to just test it out to see if it works. The bundle that we did actually did really well. We couldn't find that replant anymore, so we stopped selling it. But right now it took off, and there's it's been taking off. So that was one of our prized possession, I guess. Bundle.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, we actually sold that FBM, which is fulfillment by merchant, meaning that we actually shipped it out ourselves, right? So we created the bundle, we kept it here in our house, and then we just wanted to see how it sold. And sure enough, once we ran PPC, we started getting some orders in, and we shipped it out. And then when we were pretty confident that this was going to definitely be a good seller, we went ahead and shipped it into FBA at that point. So which leads me into my other question from Madeline on Zoom. So she's asking, I have sold 10 items by mistakenly sending it up as FBM. Is there any reason my items sold so fast, or was it just luck? Well, if you priced it competitively with the other sellers, if they're mostly FBA, it might have just been a really good listing. But the thing about FBM is that you do want to make sure that you're selling it, pricing it high enough. That way, when you do ship it out, you still maintain some profit, right? Because with FBM, Amazon does take a smaller fee. However, it's up to you to actually ship it out to the customer, meaning that you got to pay UPS or FedEx, USPS, which we don't recommend. But yeah, so just make sure that you, as you ship out those 10 items, keep track of how much you pay for shipping, and then just do some math. How much did you sell the item for? Subtract the Amazon fee, subtract the cost of the item, and then finally subtract how much you pay for shipping. And if your if your margins are good, you might want to just continue selling it FBM. The thing is, though, that FBA is still the preferred way to go because it's just less work, right? You ship those 10 items into Amazon, let them take care of it. They do charge them more of a fee. However, your items now have the Prime badge on there. Customer, you're going to win the buy box more likely. Customers like it because they're going to get the items in 2 days. And then any customer service issues, Amazon takes care of it, right? So we do FBM, but we just prefer to kind of, not do that too often, kind of here and there whenever it's suitable, basically.
Yeah, if anything, you prefer FBM for some items.
So Madeline's following up saying that she's won 70% of the buy box. I do not know how. That's awesome. That's really 17 is a really high number. I think our average across all our SKUs is maybe 13, 14, 15, somewhere around there. So 17 is very healthy. But yeah, whatever you're doing, just continue doing it. But again, just make sure that you are crunching the numbers and make sure that it's profitable. Because sometimes we do see sales spikes and we're just like, uh-oh, did we price something too low? Unfortunately, we most of the time we don't, and it's just people love shopping on Amazon, and that's why we're all here, right? So Nadine has a follow-up question with her bundle. So she tried creating a bundle on FBA and she was hit with a complaint. I was told that doing so can potentially cause risk of deactivation. How can I get around this? So
complaint. Was the complaint coming from a customer or coming from a Amazon?
Yeah, if you could elaborate more on the complaint and try to help address that.
Faria is asking, can you show us how to create template or items more than £1 and how to price them and how to know how much shipping before and for FBM? And actually you created a template and I can share that with you later, Faria. if you're in the academy, I think I shared it in that FBM module as well. But if you're not, just let me know and I can send it to you.
So in terms of how to know the shipping cost beforehand for FBM, so I use a web app called Shipping Easy, and we do that. It's similar to like a lot of these other like third-party apps to kind of get reasonable shipping costs. And what I do is I pick an area that's kind of in the middle, right? So for us here in Maryland, if I were to ship to the East Coast, it's really cheap. If I were to ship to the West Coast, it's really expensive. So I pick somewhere like in the Midwest, like I don't know, like Chicago, for example, or Texas, and then I see how much it is shipped there. Then I use that as my average cost to ship it, right? Because when you're doing FBM, it is going to swing wildly, right? So it's hard to really calculate that until you actually start shipping it out. So so like I said, pick something kind of in the middle of where you, distance-wise from you, and then just get some average costs as you're shipping them out, and then go back and then adjust your price accordingly. That's kind of the other reason why we don't really do much FBM, just because you could easily just not profit on a bunch of products, right? If I end up selling a lot to like California, for example, that wipes out my whole profit margin there. Of course, when I do get some buyers from like New York or Florida, it kind of evens it out and everything at the end of the day. So hope that answers your question. Okay, so Nadine followed up with her question saying that the claim was from Amazon. It was an infringement issue. Okay, so infringement.
Yeah, usually when you're creating the new bundle and let's say the item is a big brand that don't like resellers, Amazon, or you're not allowed to sell them yet, then they might hit you with infringement complaint and say that you can't sell it. So to get around this, I wouldn't recommend it, but you can put the brand name as something that is within the product that you're selling. Let me see if I can give you an example. So let's say you're selling Legos, for example, and the Lego set is Disney Lego set. You're not approved to sell Disney, but you are approved to sell Lego. You can put Lego as the brand, and so Amazon won't see you as doing an IP claim for Disney, which let's say you're not approved to sell Disney, then you don't want to put Disney anywhere in the brand when you're creating the new listing. So I hope that kind of makes sense to go around that. But
yeah, I mean, really, like the safe answer is to know ahead of time if the brand that you're adding a listing to is known for filing complaints. And one way to do that is to go to the online tools that we love page that I just linked earlier. Scroll down to intellectual property alert and look for IP alert. We actually have like a discount code for people, and it's 30% off. So definitely check that out. And yeah, so what that tool does is it's a Chrome extension. Every time you're on Amazon and you go to an async, like a listing, and it will actually look at the brand. In this case, Disney, for example, and then it'll say, "Oh, Disney is known for filing IP complaints." I'm just making it up. I don't know that's for a fact. And then it will alert you. That way, okay, avoid Amazon. Avoid Disney if you can.
Minhan's asking, a lot of sellers are getting IP complaints for toys. Do you have any advice on that? So Minhan, if it's a toy that you don't think you're going to be selling for a long term, I would say just avoid it. If it's something that is a hot seller and you want to continue selling it, you could try to get all the paperwork for it, all the compliance paperwork. It does cost something to get these certifications. So you can either wait until another seller on that listing get the paperwork for it to Amazon, or you can do it yourself. But I would say if you know that this item is only selling like a few a month or something for you, then I would just remove it and then move on to the next product.
Yeah, I'm not sure that this is a safety complaint issue because she's saying intellectual property.
Oh, IP. Yeah.
So if it's intellectual property, again, just use the IP alert tool. Hopefully it will tell you ahead of time that this brand is known for that. Now, as a disclaimer, IP alert relies on sellers like us to be able to tell them what are the brands to avoid. So it's not perfect. It is going to help you with brands that it is aware of. However, a few of them are going to slip through the cracks. Listen, getting IP complaints is a part of the game, right? Us as sellers, we get the IP complaints all the time. We address it in a very calm manner. Hopefully you're not going to get deactivated with just a few claims, but you do need to address it ASAP, right? Don't drag your feet on it. Don't sweep it under the rug and just ignore it. You want to email the company that filed the claim and tell them that you're very sorry you've deleted the listing, unless you actually have paperwork to back up your authorization to buy the item. If you don't have any of that paperwork, email them, tell them that you've deleted the listing and that you promise to never sell any of their stuff again. And ask them for mercy and if they would retract the complaint. It's worked a few times for us that way. A lot of times the companies will just kind of ignore you. They won't reply back. Which at that point you need to also reply to Amazon seller performance, right? If you go to the complaint itself, you'll see a way to contact Amazon. You need to write a plan of action and say, all sorts of, there's all sorts of plan of action templates out there. I think we're going to link one eventually that we use that works pretty well. But basically it just says that you're sorry for this and you are going to not do it in the future, and then Amazon is typically going to say, okay, that's fine. This complaint will stay in your record for the next 180 days, 6 months, and then it's going to fall off, right? And then you just want to kind of make sure you're always addressing it, either with the brand and also with Amazon themselves.
Okay, so I think I'm going to move on because we actually have a lot to cover, and then we'll go back to questions. Okay, so the next thing that you might want to do is to fix your stranded inventory or any inventory that's suppressed. And in order to do this, you can just go to your inventory and manage inventory and inventory and fulfillment center. Okay, so if you don't know what stranded inventory is, it's just any products that does not have an active offer on Amazon. So it's just inactive. Pretty much on Amazon. So you want to fix that so that it becomes active so people can buy it from you, right? So I do have a video on how to fix this.
What is a stranded inventory? Stranded inventory is FBA inventory in fulfillment centers that does not have an associated active offer and thus is not available for sale. Amazon will notify you about stranded inventory in these ways: by email, on the Fixed Stranded Inventory page, accessible through Manage Inventory page, in the notifications section of your inventory dashboard. It is important to check these pages as stored inventory, even if stranded, accumulates storage fees. To see your stranded inventory and solve the related issues, follow these steps. From your Seller Central homepage, hover over Inventory and click on Inventory Planning from the drop-down menu. Next, click on the Fixed Stranded Inventory tab on the top. In this page, you can see the list of current stranded SKUs and why each listing is stranded. Hovering over the stranded reason for each listing will display more information and recommended actions for you to take.
Okay, so once you've seen that your items are stranded, Amazon will recommend what you should do. Like, hi Jeanette. Jeanette just started joining us on Zoom. So they can recommend for you to either reprice it, to remove it because it's not selling anymore. So all the action items, or you can add a description to it so that it can make your item active and viewable for the customer to buy from you. So I hope that kind of helps to, and I've seen that once we fix our stranded inventory, our sales starts to go up because we have more items that is available for the customer to buy. Okay, I'm gonna answer questions while I try to do this.
So Faria is asking, people are getting more compliance complaints more on toys. Should we avoid certain toys? Yeah, so we're hit with a lot of the same compliance issues. I think it's a lot of toys for kids like under 12.
Mm-hmm.
So the CPSC is a government agency that is responsible for the safety of consumers. They're really cracking down well, I shouldn't say that CPSC is cracking down. I should say that Amazon's feeling the pressure from CPSC and from customers that they're selling toys that are harming small children, and rightfully they should, right? As parents, we want to make sure that Amazon does sell safe toys. That said, I think at this point we are only buying toys for older kids, right? Over 12 years old. So yes, I would say avoid anything that's under 12 unless that Amazon already has the the safety compliance documents on file for the toy. I'm not really sure if that's even possible to kind of determine. But for us, it's just kind of like across the board, we just don't buy any toys for small kids anymore. So Anna on Facebook, she started in January, but she didn't make any sales until April, but no profits. So how can I get products that really have good margins? Well,
so
I'll
Anna,
let Anna. I'm sorry. I'll let Amy kind of address that.
So Anna, yeah, we have to find products with higher profit margins. Our minimum is 40%, but we like to go. Most of ours is about 80 to 100%. Meaning, if we can you explain ROI?
Yeah. So there's two ways to determine how much money you're actually making, right? The first way is ROI, which stands for return on investment. So you hear this a lot when it comes to investing in stocks, for example. It basically means if you were to invest $10, how much can you expect to get back in terms of net profit, right? So a way to kind of quickly do some math there is, let's say you do buy an item for $10 and then you sell it on Amazon for 30. Well, after Amazon fees, and then you subtract the cost of the item, which is $10, and then let's say your net profit at that point is $10. Well, $10 profit over $10, how much you invested, which is to buy the product, is 100% ROI, right? So that's really, really good. A lot of times, you may only make, let's say you buy a product for $10 and you sell it, and the profit that you get in your pocket after all the fees are taken care of is, let's say, $5. So then $5 divided by $10. So again, $5 profit divided by $10 is how much you invested. That's 50% ROI. And 50% ROI is also pretty good. So for us, we go down to as low as like 35% ROI. So using that $10 example, we're willing to make $3.50 on that sale. Now, profit margin. So where does that come into play? So profit margin simply is you take the amount of money you profited and you divide it by how much you sold the item for. So that comes in handy whenever, for example, you're looking at your Amazon sales numbers, right? Let's say today you sold $100 on Amazon. Okay, well, how much did you actually make, right? Eventually, you're going to determine what is your average profit margin. Ours is around 20-25%. So if we made $100 in sales today, the profit margin is a percentage of those sales that we actually took home, right? So 20% of that would mean that we would take home $20. So, so the way I like to kind of explain it is ROI is great to kind of determine if a product is profitable enough for you to actually sell it. And then profit margin is really good for determining how much did I actually make today, this last week, this last month, or this entire year. So hopefully that clears it up a little bit. Should we go on with more questions?
Yeah, we'll take one more from Madeline, then I'll go back to the presentation. Hopefully it'll work now. Madeline's asking, I purchased some coffee cups with a stand and went to add the current listing to Amazon and it wouldn't let me. So does that mean I'm gated? How do I get ungated for that product? So you would get ungated for first, if it's a coffee cup, then it's probably a grocery item. So make sure you're ungated in groceries, which is the broad category. And then if it's brand gated, let's say it's like Keurig or something, then you need to get brand ungated as well. So sometimes you're able to do this with just one invoice. Let's say you are going to Frontier Co-op to get ungated, and you're able to submit that invoice to get ungated for both groceries, the category, and the brand Keurig. So a lot of people find that it's helpful that way, so you don't have to buy two separate items. So I hope that helps, Madeline. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen again.
Okay, there you go.
So we just stopped with talking about how to fix stranded inventory. The next thing that you can do is take a look at your inventory health. So remember, we were talking about ways to boost sales, right? So the first thing was repricing your items using either manual or a repricer like Informed. And then we talked about fixing your stranded inventory so that it can be active for customers to buy it. The next thing you want to do is take a look at your inventory health. And for Amazon, inventory health is really important because it kind of dictates your score, which is the IPI score, the Inventory Performance Index, and it determines how much you're able to send into FBA, how much storage they'll allow you to before they limit it. So you want to go into your Seller Central dashboard and then take a look at your inventory age report. And you can do this by going to just inventory reports and generate you can generate the report right there. So let me see if I can, you can hit the request report button to take a look at all of the.
Yeah, I think inventory age, like typically, there's actually a way to see it in Seller Central directly. So you don't have to download the report. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Okay, so when you're taking a look at the report, you want to see how long a certain item has been in inventory. Usually for us, anything that has been there for more than 90 days, we call it quits. And we just said, okay, this is not selling anymore. It hasn't sold within the last 90 days. So we're just going to clearance it out, meaning we're going to lower the price so that we can at least make our money back, and then clearance it out and not replenish it anymore. You can discount the items, or you can have Amazon remove it back to you for 50 cents, or they can dispose of it for you for 15 cents. So that's actually not a bad deal if you don't want items to clutter up your house, or you have too much stuff and maybe you have like 50 units of a certain item and you want Amazon to destroy it for you. It's only 15 cents per unit.
Yeah, so I think if you go to inventory, manage FBA inventory, and then
I think, let me see if I can.
Yeah, I forget exactly how to navigate there, but if in Seller Central, if you search at the top for FBA inventory age, it's going to come up with the search result, and then it'll tell you how to get there. And then once you get there, then you can actually, so what we like to do is we like to look at what has been in inventory for more than 30 days, right? So we like to, first off, we like to sell stuff quickly. And anything that's been there for 30 days, that's kind of a problem for us, right? Because we haven't sold very quickly enough, because we want to just get it in there off the shelf and then replenish it as quickly as we can. So anything that's over 30 days, we will try to lower the pricing. Obviously, that's the first thing that you can do, right? Lower pricing to kind of boost sales a little bit. And then just try to make a habit out of it, right? Maybe like, so for us, it's like, I think every month we look at what has been there for more than 30 days, and then we'll start to lower it. And then hopefully by next month, we won't see it again, because lowering the price has worked. Another thing that we look at is anything that's been there for over 90 days. That is a big problem, right? Now it's been in Amazon's fulfillment center for 3 months. Why hasn't it sold? Usually those items, we've been lowering it, right, every month, but then we get to the point where we're not even making any more money on it. So at that point, you want to kind of price it to basically clear it out, right? You want to clearance these items. At times we have lowered the price, basically make no money at all, even lose a little bit of money, because we know that we would have to pay 50 cents to remove the item, and then it will cost us, maybe a few more bucks to sell it on Mercari, or we have to spend time to take it back to the retail store to return it. So we're willing to lose a couple bucks on a product just to get rid of it, right, and move on. Sometimes you just need to do that. So that's FBA inventory age. And yeah, like I said, about once a month, definitely kind of check up on that, just to make sure everything looks good.
Okay, Anna is asking, I started, you read that. I tried Frontier Co-op to get ungated, but they want EIN. I sent them my sales permit, but they didn't honor it. So there's other places you can use to get ungated in groceries, Anna, if you need them. So one of the, we actually did an ungating whole live a few months ago, and it was like a huge success. People were able to get automatically ungated during the live. So see if you can. It's on my YouTube channel, and I will link it here. But if you need it right away, let me know. I can send it to you.
Oh, and by the way, I realized how to get to FBA inventory age,
Okay.
and also to view your IPI score. So for Amazon Seller Central, just click on the menu button, go to inventory, and then go to manage FBA inventory, for example. And then let me see. So inventory, manage FBA inventory, and then you'll see inventory dashboard. Click on that link, and then it's going to present you your IPI score. And then at the top, you also see manage inventory health, which is where you can see aged inventory also.
I'm actually going to see if I can share my screen. We have another account that we use to kind of show whenever we do these lives. How did you do? So let me see if I can share my screen real quick.
So go to inventory, go to manage FBA inventory. That's the second option. No, manage FBA inventory. Yeah, there you go. And then click on.
So we don't sell any of these products, guys.
This menu is different. I think this account has a different menu. So that was.
Is it FBA
Because it's inventory dashboard, so you don't have that option for some reason. So. Okay, so some of you may have the inventory dashboard option, others will not. I do believe that you should. It might be the difference between a pro account and a regular account. I don't know. Okay. So, but if you have a pro account, then you'll see the inventory dashboard link. So we have a question from Conchita. She's asking, when you mentioned that you can ask Amazon to destroy items for you, what do you do with the loss? Can you declare that in your taxes? 100%, yes. So anything that is being destroyed is going to be, you can actually expense it. So not to get too much into the weeds of accounting, but basically whenever you buy an item, you actually cannot expense that item right away because of a certain style of accounting called the accrual method. So when you buy an item, it's not an expense. It's actually considered an asset, right? It's actually part of the company's value now. When you sell the item, that's when you're allowed to expense it out, right? Because now you've actually sold the item to a customer, therefore it's out of your asset and it's now an expense. So same thing when you destroy an item. It goes from the asset column and out of the expense column, right? So anybody that's kind of done any bookkeeping, you'll kind of understand. If this sounds like a complete foreign language to you, I don't blame you. Just kind of look up accrual method for bookkeeping, and then you'll see what I mean, that you can actually expense stuff that you destroy. But yeah, so anything that you remove from Amazon that's not selling and you end up destroying it yourself, you definitely want to expense. If you donate it, you can expense it at that point too. And certainly when Amazon destroys it, you can expense it.
So you end up finding a really good replen, right? And then you go to buy it, you send it to Amazon. And then when you send it to Amazon, everybody prices are lower than to the point where you're not even making any money anymore. So what can you do at that point? So what I normally do is I take a look at the current buy box winner, and buy box is the person who is currently winning the button to buy it now on Amazon. So when you're looking at a listing that has multiple sellers on there, the person who's winning the buy box is most likely the one who's going to be able to get the sale for that item. So it's very important to be competitive in terms of pricing and your seller account so that you can win the buy box. And so I take a look at the buy box winner and see how much they have in stock. And from there, I can determine whether or not I want to wait it out and see if they can just sell it out, sell out of their products so that we can be next in line to get the buy box. So if they only have 5 units or something, and this item sells 100 units a month, they're going to sell it out within a couple days. So I would be willing to just stick around for a little bit to make sure that, I don't want to just remove my items right away. I just want to see how things are going. And then I always look at my Keepa graph to make sure what is the history of that item. has it been tanking in prices to the point of no returns, where it won't get back to the normal price anymore, or it has been going down, but then it goes back up, down, and then back up. And if so, I'm willing to wait a little bit so that when it gets back up, I can price it at a higher price to be profitable. And also look at the prices of the other seller. What are they selling it at? Maybe it's just a few of the first sellers who wants to get rid of the inventory, and they're lowering the price so that they can clearance it out and be done with the listing. So if you're looking at the other sellers that are pricing it higher, then you might want to just keep your price at that, the profitable price, and just wait until the other sellers sell out. So that's one of the method that we use to not just kind of like freak out whenever we see that a price is tanking. It might just be that they have the item on sale, they're on clearance. Remember, the prices changes all the time on Amazon, and sometimes these sellers have an automated software like Inform to reprice their item for them, and sometimes the price has been priced incorrectly, so and they don't know about it. So we don't want to just automatically assume that this listing is going to be dead. You don't want to sell it anymore. So and then the last thing, which is the last reserve that you want to do, is determine if you want to continue selling or just to discontinue it and clearance it out or remove it and not sell it anymore. So I hope that this has helped. I forgot who asked this question, but if you're watching this replay, this is what we would do normally when we see a listing that has lower prices. So, okay. So to kind of wrap things up, I just wanted to give you guys some encouragement and motivation to continue going. Summer is very, very slow, but we're starting Q3 already. So once we're done with Q3, it's going to be game on. Q4 is going to be here, and it's going to be very fast. It's going to be like game time. And so there are some sellers who only work during Q4 and then take off the entire year and relax. So that's why I emphasize a lot to get ready for Q4. And these are some of the things that you can actually do right now in order to prep yourself. So get your books in order. We have been on top of our finances, and we use QuickBooks to keep track of what we spend and how much profit we make. Bookkeeping is very important, especially if you want this to be like a real business. If you're brand new, now is the time to open up your seller account. And the reason why is because it takes Amazon 26 weeks in order for you to get an IPI score. So you don't want to open up an account during Q4 because it's not enough time for them to give you an inventory performance index score or IPI. And you want a high IPI score so that you don't have a limit on how much inventory you're allowed to send in. We got stuck with that last year. We were just like, we were doing so well. We know the item sells, but we couldn't send in more than 200 units or something. And that was like really frustrating for us. But then we got our score up, and now we have unlimited inventory. So we can send in as much as we want.
Yeah, think of the IPI score as kind of like your credit score, right? Mm-hmm. So you need a high score in order to actually do something, right? With a high credit score, now you can actually get credit cards, you can get a house, you can get a car, right? But it's going to take time, right? You need to work on that score. It's not going to happen overnight. Same thing with the IPI score, right? You got to work on it. The earlier you start, the better. And then there's a couple of different metrics, right? So you definitely want to kind of find fast movers that will help boost your score. You also want to have listings that you can restock. Amazon likes it when you have listings that you constantly send in more inventory and sell. And that way they say, okay, well, it looks like you're doing a good job. Go ahead and send in as much as you want. One thing to keep in mind is that if you have listings that you're no longer selling, definitely delete those listings. That way it doesn't count against you for the restocking metric that I was just referring to. And then, just kind of keep chipping away at it. Like Amy was saying, our score was in, probably in the 400s, something. Yeah, and then now, we're well into the 500s. We've got unlimited storage, and we're just shipping in stuff. And hopefully with Q4, we'll have that same score.
So what you you want to do is continue sending in items that you know will sell. The sure way to not make sales is if you don't have any items to sell. So some people see that there are slow sales and they just like stop sending things in. That's not the way to go, because you want to continue just making the algorithm happy pretty much. So you want to learn how to, right now, if you haven't done a shipment plan yet, get on it, because you want to be able to be very well versed about how to do a shipment plan. And actually, Cece did a whole new module about how to do the new shipment plan that Amazon just implemented. It's a lot easier, actually. It's user friendly, but it's a little bit of a learning curve if you're used to the old method. So if you guys, are kind of stuck with the old method and you want to learn more about the new, then the Academy goes through all of that. And we'll put the link in there if you want to learn more about the Academy as well.
Yeah, so the Women Sellers Academy is our course that runs through everything you need to get started as an Amazon seller, right? Like registering your account, learning the ins and outs of Amazon, and also most importantly, learning the ins and outs of how to sell replen. So this course is focused on replen. It's what we do. It's what we are very successful at. Not to say that there aren't other styles of selling that are of course very profitable, but if you're interested in learning replen, the Women Sellers Academy is for you.
So I kind of touched on this already, but what not to do is to get discouraged. Again, everyone faces the same issue. Your sales will go back up, I promise you. Starting like September, you're gonna start seeing sales start trickling up again. And you don't want to neglect your business. I know some of you guys are on vacation. It's summer, so relax, enjoy your time. And then when Q4 rolls around, it's going to be game on. Don't get sidetracked, and don't stop shipping things into Amazon. So we talked about those already. So that brings us to the end of our presentation. This is some links that you guys probably already know, but we recently revamped our website, womensellers.com, and we're putting more content on there, such as a blog. So if you want to check it out, it's womensellers.com. And has been writing those blogs, like how to do hazmat, categories that we're allowed to sell in, and it's going to be updated every single week. So on a weekly basis, if you want to sign up for our newsletter, we'll include that as well.
Yeah, and the Women Seller site is different from the Academy. All the blogs that we write in there are completely free. Anybody can go in there and kind of read about it. The only difference is that the Academy kind of goes more into detail, right? But we will be releasing a blog roughly every week. So definitely subscribe to our blog on womensellers.com. And then you'll be notified every time we send out a new article. We got some really good articles in the pipeline. It goes over a lot of the questions that we answered today, but also questions that we didn't. So, and in the future, whatever issues come up, we're going to address it in the blog, and we're going to hopefully be able to share that with the community.
So, and the YouTube channel is where all of these recordings are held. So if you have to go or you're not able to see the beginning, it'll be posted on the YouTube channel as well. So, and I'm starting a new thing called the YouTube Shorts, where we'll just put like a little snippet of tips or encouragement, motivation for you guys to continue with your business. So check that out as well. So this time we'll just take some last minute questions. I know there are some.
Yeah, so Faria has a question about what if Amazon jumps on the listing and they price it, very low, and you don't really know how much they have in stock.
So if you have the Rep Seller or Legendary Toolkit, usually you can tell how much they have in stock, but if they block that out for some reason, I look at Keepa.
Assume they have a lot.
Assume they have a lot. I would look at Keepa and see if they have a history of running out of stock. So sometimes Amazon will jump on the listing and their price will be very much lower than yours, but they sell out very quickly. If they have trouble keeping it in stock, then I will continue selling that. Or they have a history of sharing the buy box. So if you know how to use the Keepa graph, you can tell that the pink line is the buy box. And if Amazon is on the listing, but they don't win the buy box, then that means they're sharing it. So if that's the case, then I will sell on that listing because it looks like they're being nice and sharing the buy box. So I hope that helps. Missy says shorts are great. Yeah, I'm so addicted to shorts now. I don't even know why. Actually, can I show them the shorts I did for you?
Okay, if you want to, but
Okay, go ahead.
let me kind of tackle some of these questions first.
Go
So, Anna, did you cover the question Anna had about other companies that she can use for ungating and toys, topical,
Anna,
groceries?
I did not, but I kind of hinted at the video that I did that one time when we had all of the.
Okay,
the
so
people,
the short answer is Frontier Co-op,
there's
this wholesale, right?
wholesale.
And then Entertainment Earth distribution, not the regular Entertainment Earth site, but look for the Entertainment Earth distribution site.
Yeah.
There's the wholesale department for that website, and they have a lot of toys that you can actually buy and try to engage it in certain brands.
There's, how do you say? I know I'm gonna say it wrong. Wieners Limited.
Wieners Limited is another company, yeah.
Here, Anna, let me type it in there for you. Where's on Facebook?
It's Facebook, yeah. And then Anna's other question is, does Amazon have any administrative people that you can talk to as a seller? An item was returned because the buyer refused to accept it during delivery. Anna was charged for the return mail and she doesn't know what they did with the product. Yes. So if you go to Amazon Seller Central and click on the help button and just kind of put in a couple keywords for the issue you're having, eventually Amazon will give you an option at the very bottom to contact them. And you can request, you can either send an email or you can request a call, which they will connect you almost right away. And you can actually speak to a live human. Amazon, I know that a lot of sellers have been complaining about seller support, they're always not helpful. I think they're getting better. Lately, a lot of the issues that I've had, they may not fix it right away, but they do stay on top of it and they will get it to it eventually. So definitely check out seller support on Seller Center for that. Nancy on Facebook is asking, is it too late for the 26 weeks for the Q4 rating? So Q4 begins in October, right? 10, 11, 12, yeah. So the IPI score is based on the previous quarter, right? So if you want unlimited storage for Q4, then you're gonna have to have a really good Q3, and that's ending in September, and we're in July right now. So a bit of quick math says that that's less than 26 weeks. So you're probably not going to be able to, as a new seller, be able to get the IPI score in time for Q4. But still, don't let that discourage you. Now you just want a score for Q1, right? Q1 is still good. And listen, like these are annual cycles, right? So if you can't get it for Q4 this year, you'll be in great shape for Q4 next year, right? So don't stress out about Q4 this year. Just try to do the best you can, try to learn, and just try to get good. And then you'll be really, really prepared for next Q4. Not to say that you won't have a good Q4 this year. It's still very possible. So
we got asking, what are you done?
Yeah, I'm done with Nancy. Yeah.
Faria's just asking about Amazon, how she says they don't share the buy box. They actually do, Faria. They don't do it often, but they do. And I'm trying to see if I can find a good graph so that I can show you the time that they do.
Okay, so while Amy's doing that, Faria is asking about payability, getting instant access to funds. We did look at payability, and at first the rates sound attractive, but then when you break it down, it is super expensive. I mean, when you're talking about like in terms of like how much their fees are in terms of like simple interest, it's a super high amount. I don't remember what the number was, but it's super high. If you think that, you can absorb those fees by getting the money to buy items faster and then being able to ship to Amazon, that's certainly something for you to consider. We prefer more traditional funding. So, friends and family, if possible, right? You can offer them a pretty good rate, better rates than they can get at the bank. Another way to go about it is just use credit cards. Not super recommended, but obviously, you need money to make money, right? And credit cards are very convenient. They're just sitting there sometimes. Now, a lot of them carry high interest rates, so you want to be careful with that. And then you can always apply for like a business loan through a bank. There's a company called Funbox or something like that, or
Grow and Fund.
Grow and Fund. So they promise to kind of help you for a pretty substantial fee. They will try to get you access to like business credit cards that have like 0% interest for the first year. So you may want to look at that too. But personally, I avoided payability just because I just thought that the fees just seemed way too high for me.
Okay, so I think we're gonna take this question from Faria, and I'll show you my screen because this used to get asked a lot. I guess people don't have question about Amazon sharing the buy box anymore. But this is how you can tell, Faria, if Amazon shares the buy box. So here's a keep a graph for an item. And when you're looking at the pink line, that's the buy box line, right? And all the orange section is when Amazon is on the listing. So for the most part, up until January, whenever Amazon's on the listing, it seems like they win the buy box. But then when you go to February, they're on the listing again, but the buy box winner is at a higher price. So this is telling me that they are sharing the buy box because their price is lower at $24.99, but the FBA seller is selling it for $39.98, but they still have the buy box. So this is an example of when Amazon is sharing the buy box. It doesn't happen often, but it does once in a while. So I hope that helped, Faria. And that's the only time that I would recommend competing with Amazon is when we know they share the buy box and they're being friendly with us. So, okay, I think that's all we have for today, guys. Let us know if you have any questions. Again, this will be posted hopefully by early next week. This weekend is Ethan's birthday. Our second son, he's turning 3. So we're taking him to a theme park for the first time in a year and a half. So we're super excited. Hopefully we'll get good weather and we get to come back and talk to you guys some more. So Monday, we're taking a half day and we're going on Sunday and coming back Monday night. So yeah, we'll let you know. At first we were actually thinking about doing the live earlier because weather wasn't looking so great, but it's going to be the same time next week, Thursday at 5 p.m. So if you guys are joining, it'll be the same time. Let me know what topic you want us to cover. I know this one was a very much requested topic. A lot of people are kind of suffering from slow sales, but I want to reassure you that it will get better. This too shall pass, guys. So don't worry too much. It'll be fine. I promise you. So, okay, I think everybody is, I think that's all we have for questions. Okay, yep. All right, guys, thank you for joining us again at this live. We'll see you guys next week. So have a blessed and safe weekend. Bye, everyone.